and I wanted to touch on that with Sam Mitchell. Let's rewind to the Kawhi play against Philadelphia. Who is getting the opportunity in that situation this year in the playoffs?
Honestly, I think it'll be based on the game. I think it'll be who's got the hot hand.
It's either Van Vliet, Lowry, or Siakam.
Yeah. To me, it's
probably.
Van Vliet.
Yeah. Maybe Norm, like maybe Powell if he's hitting shots. Maybe.
You're telling me they're going to bypass Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam and give the ball to Norm Powell for that shot?
Listen. As much as I love Kyle and Siakam, they're not Kawhi. They're not built like Kawhi. You know, like Kyle Lowry doesn't have a long history of hitting big shots in the playoffs.
Well,
prior
I'm
to
not
last year
talking about running
Kawhi.
that exact same play. I'm just saying who's getting the ball for the kill shot, because every big player was Kawhi.
Yeah, it's the three names that you said right there would be the first in line. I mean, it's Van Vliet, Lowry, and Siakam. Yeah, Van Vliet would be high on the list because I think he's got the stones to take it. Right. And like Siakam has never been in that position really. That's why there has been open and honest debate and curiosity as to whether or not he is ready to step in as the man. Because until you're there with 5 seconds left on the clock, down one in a playoff game, that's when the man steps up. Like that is when Jordan is like, everyone in this building, everyone on earth knows who's getting the ball.
Yeah,
and I'm taking the shot.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Right. And that is a very isolated moment. Doesn't come up often, but it separates, the great players from the very good.
And those guys want it too. Like they want that pressure. Like I want the ball. Like or I want the puck. I want like those big players want to be difference makers, and they embrace that pressure. They embrace it. That's
the story with Kawhi. Like, hey, that's a great story, coach, but when we're in that moment, give me the ball and I'm going to score. And he did. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. And they're lacking in that until one of these guys steps up. And it's not that any of them are inadequate in that situation or would be. Kyle Lowry can hit shots. Of course he can. Van Vliet can hit shots. Siakam can hit shots. But can they hit a shot in Game 7 with 5 seconds left on the clock?
Right.
You don't get that kind of experience. You can't experience that in the gym. You can't. Even if you take the shot against Indiana in December, it doesn't mean the same as in the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, because at some point, if they're gonna go back to an NBA Finals, they're gonna be back in that spot. Yeah. May not be a replica Game 7, 10 seconds left on the clock, but there's a chance it's going to come down to, Game 6 or Game 7 with a couple minutes left on the clock. Who's going to take over the game, right? Who's going to step up and hit shots? Who's going to demand the ball? And at this point, I think it's more of a committee, but that might change within the game, right? Like if Lowry's red hot at that time, who's getting the ball and who should get the ball.
Yeah, and that's up to Nick Nurse to have a feel for who he knows is going that night, right? Like that's, he may think that in a perfect world, Fred can take that shot, but if Fred is not, been showing that mojo that night, maybe he pivots to Kyle or Pascal or one of the other players that is going that night and gives it to him. Like that's coaching. And Nick Nurse has proven he's a fantastic coach. And you guys talked about it last hour, or earlier with Ray. Like John Tortorella, these top coaches, they're getting the most out of their teams. And that's the impressive part about pro sports, is just watching the ins and outs and how these coaches, handle things, handle the media, handle, I watch it with Daryl Sutter. Like Daryl, regardless of what you think of him, he was a fantastic coach. He may not have been the most personable in certain situations. But, man, you wanted to play for him.